Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being part of our foundation. This is your foundation. It was founded by my wife and I and by best-selling authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. But this is really your foundation to be able to take out to the world and make a difference in people's lives. And what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about a little bit about my story and my wife's story, our special needs kids, and what I learned from my father and Warren Buffett. My dad is 4 days older than Warren Buffett. And so I had my own Warren Buffett growing up. My dad taught me the same kind of principles that Warren Buffett teaches. And, Warren Buffett added more zeros, but the concepts were the same. The strategies were the same. And so I'm so grateful to have some wonderful parents that taught me a lot of things. And so, as you know, the successofmoneyfoundation.org is a nonprofit educational charity. And my wife and I, LaDawn, are the co-founders of that charity. But again, this is your charity. This is a legacy project by best-selling authors and educators and entrepreneurs. And by you. We're all of those things. You're all of those things. And so this is part of your legacy as well. And the foundation has over 400 free Success and Money classes by successful authors and educators and entrepreneurs. Our purpose is to provide free STEM, which is teaching people about electronics and teaching them really about using the internet and things like that, and Success and Money classes for anyone, anywhere. Our goal is to be able to get these wonderful concepts out to anyone, anywhere. Well, because you didn't learn these in school. So this is going to be your school that you'll have access to. We've got over 9,000 students. We've had students from 80 countries that have been online for over 127,000 hours. And we have 3 missions. Mission 1 is to provide financial rewards to students for attending classes and sharing with others. These rewards are to be put into your investment account, and the money that we're going to give you, you're going to buy Berkshire Hathaway stock with it. Number 2 is provide donations in an educational platform for schools, churches, charities, groups, and teams. And mission number 3 is to help those in need. Now, my wife and I have already put $3 million into the foundation. We did that with real estate and Berkshire Hathaway stock, and the stock is what we're going to be giving away. There's been over 27,000 transactions to individuals, schools, churches, charities, groups, and teams. Mission number 3 is to improve people's lives and help those in need. So when you complete an hour of online classes, the foundation is going to provide some eyeglasses, meals, or gallons of clean water. So what's the catch? You're going, well, what's the catch? Well, there is no catch. We're a nonprofit charity that's supported by successful authors, educators, and entrepreneurs. We're a charity. We're a foundation. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my story. This is my mom and dad and 9 of us kids. I had a little sister that came after this, and I grew up in a small little town that had only 3,000 people. And my mom and dad taught us kids about how to be compassionate capitalists, how to help those people around you, and how to be successful. And I had some wonderful parents that taught us these wonderful things. As a kid, as being a 14-year-old kid, my dad taught me about the stock market. He didn't just teach, we did it. The big key was we did it. I had my own stock portfolio when I was just a teenager. My first job, of course, was working at the family car dealership. This is my grandpa who started the car dealership with my dad about 80 years ago. So we've had 4 generations in the car business. And my first job was actually sweeping floors and cleaning out the bathrooms. And then my next big job that I had that was outside of the family was a dishwasher at a truck stop. And then I sold Christmas cards. I had my own lawn business where I'd cut people's grass and stuff like that. I wanted to learn how to make money because being one of 10 kids, that's what, if you wanted any money to spend, you had to learn how to make it. And something else happened is when I was about that age, we had a lady in our neighborhood that gave each of us kids a $2 bill. Now, this is the first time somebody outside my family had given us money. And she said, this money is for you to start saving for long term, for investing, for going to college, getting married, and serving a Christian mission to help other people. And she also gave us 22 cents. The 22 cents was for us to give away to charity toward individuals. And that was a seed. That was a seed that was planted, gosh, 50 years ago. 50 years ago. Now, since that time, we've taken that 22 cents and we've given well over $2 million. We actually doubled that. We're probably about $4 or $5 million we've given away. But it started 50 years ago with my parents and with Mrs. Broadhead. Now, I married the girl of my dreams. This is my wife, LaDawn. We've been together for 42 years. We've been married for 39 years. And my wonderful parents and her wonderful parents. We got married and we started a family. And then something went definitely wrong. When I was 34 years of age, I had a heart attack. And it got pretty bleak, got pretty dark. And I remember as they were wheeling me into the operating room, if I was coming back, because if 1/3 of the people who have a heart attack die, they're just gone. And I was lucky. And as I was going into the operating room, I wondered if I didn't come back, who's going to take care of my 2 special needs children? I've got 2 very special needs children that have all kinds of issues. And I'm 30 years older than they are. And you can see my son and my daughter on the very bottom there. And I had to find a way to be able to create income to take care of these children. I'm 30 years older than they are. And I was lucky that I didn't pass away. And they're going to be on this earth for 30 years after I'm dead and gone. So I had to find a way to be able to create income to take care of these children. Now, I talked to my mom and dad about some systems after that, because I needed to find a way to create this extra income. And my dad and mom have been wonderful parents. They have 10 children. They have 70 grand and great grandchildren. And in 1984, my mom and dad started an investment account or a sub account for each of their then 12 grandchildren. So in 1984, when my wife and I got married, they started doing this, and then they kept adding to it. They planted money trees for each of the grand and great grandchildren. And they planted that tree, they watered that tree, and they took care of that tree. And then when the grandchild got to be age 21, they could take that tree, would transplant it, that now they're responsible to take care of it. And they could take that money tree, they could take the seed off that money tree, and they could plant more money trees. Now I'm talking about investment accounts, small businesses, and things like that, getting into a home. And so all of those 70 grand and great grandchildren have had a massive leg up. And it happened because my mom and dad thought of their kids and their grandkids and their great grandkids. They planted money trees that they would not sit under for the shade. They planted money trees that they would not participate in the fruit. They planted these trees to help other people. And that's what we want you to do too. We're not going to just throw a bunch of seeds out on the ground and hope they grow. We're going to plant a seed. We're going to plant a small tree, and then we're going to teach you how to water that tree, and then it's going to grow. The successful people, the ones that are very wealthy, have a whole orchard of money trees. They have businesses. They have real estate. They have all kinds of things, and that's what we want you to be able to do as well. So I approached my mom and dad, and I got some great advice from my parents, because I needed to really get to work and figure out how to make some money to automatically have extra money to take care of these 2 special needs children. I also had the privilege of working with Mr. Robert Allen. Robert Allen spoke at my university at the Executive Lecture Series. And as I connect the dots, going back to when I was in college, 40 years ago, 40 plus years ago, they had the Executive Lecture Series. And the Executive Lecture Series was a system where they brought successful entrepreneurs and business people to talk to the students. It was the best class I had because it was real life. They were talking about the things that they did to be successful. And the Success Money Foundation, if you connect the dots going backwards, it's because of the class I took when I was going to college. Now, Bob Allen actually spoke at that Executive Lecture Series. And by sheer coincidence, he lived in the same city that I was going to college in. And so I found out where his office was. I tracked him down. I went to his office almost every week trying to get a job. Now, I didn't want a job. I wanted to learn from people who were doing it. My mom and dad taught me about real estate. They taught me about money and small businesses. When I was just a kid, I remember painting the house next door with my dad. and it was hot. I wasn't having any fun. We were scraping off the old paint so we could put a new paint on the house. And I said, Dad, can I get paid for doing this? And he goes, no, son, get back to work. Because, he's got 10 kids. He's got a lot of stuff going on there. And he could see that wasn't the answer I wanted. And so I asked him again a little later, Dad, are you sure I can't get paid for doing this? And he goes, son, we bought this house so that it would produce extra income that can help put you kids through college. Now, I was a teenager. I didn't care about college at that point. And he can see that wasn't the answer I was looking for. And he said, you know what, son, some people make so much money off of their small businesses, their real estate, and their investments that they don't have a job. Their job is to simply manage those things. And that was a massive aha. So my dad was a huge, huge impact on me, and my mom was as well. Now, Robert Allen is the author of a book called Nothing Down, and I actually went to his Nothing Down seminar. I didn't have enough money to get in, but they had a student. They had the first person paid full price, second person was half price, and I didn't have enough money to go, but my brother was going. And then the night before, something came up and he wasn't able to go, but I really wanted to go to the Nothing Down seminar. And so I went to the event, and the lady called me up at noon on the first day and says, your brother didn't show up, so you have to pay full price. I didn't have the money. I literally didn't have the money, but I said, can't we create a student discount price? She goes, are you going to school? I says, I am. If I can prove to you that I am going to college, will you let me stay? And she says, yes. And I literally walked outside, got into my car and got my psych book and my physics book. I came back in and says, I'm really going to college. Can I stay for the discounted price? She said, sure. And I learned how to buy real estate on a systematic way with nothing down. Now, the big thing for me is that I got the belief, was it possible to buy real estate with nothing down? Now, I'm just in my early 20s at this point. And I got the belief system that it was possible to do that. Later on, Robert Allen wrote the book called Multiple Streams of Income, The 1 Minute Millionaire, Creating Wealth. He's a wonderful author. He's able to take complex subjects and make them very, very simple. And I love Robert Allen for the things that he's done for me in my life. And so one day I was talking to Bob. I said, Bob, I got a problem. My son, there's a training program for my special needs son, but it's $40,000 a year. Plus we'd have to relocate to Los Angeles. So I'd have to find a new job. And I don't know how I'm going to get that kind of money, because I just don't have that kind of money. And he goes, Tom, what you got to do is you got to go figure out how to make enough money that you can put your son in any program you want and never have regrets about spending the money on your child. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. So that was the answer. I just got to go figure out how to make all this stuff work. And so my wife really got busy. And one of the first things that we did is that we started fixing up houses. Now, the reason I'm showing you all this stuff is because you want to learn from other people and see how they did it. But when we were in our early 20s, my wife and I started fixing up little houses. And this is the copy of one of the houses that we found. I love ugly houses. I love fixing them up. It's a lot of fun. And for me, it's a lot of fun. But this is one of the houses we did. And you can see that they just let the thing go to pot. There was a husband and wife that got divorced. She got to keep the house and he got the kids. Well, she won out because these kids were bad to the bone. They did not take care of the house. It was just a colossal mess. There was junk everywhere. The old washer and dryer was downstairs. When the old one broke, they just move it. And they didn't hook up the vents so that out of the dryer, it would dry outside. And so we had all this junk floating around. Dog crap all over the place. This is the bathroom. And again, I'm showing you kind of the extreme so you can get an idea of some of the stuff we took on. And I love problems. One of the successful things you do is you study successful people and you learn from them. And one of the things they teach you is find problems, solve problems. Most people run away from problems. We run towards problems. That's how you make good money. My next door neighbor is a surgeon. He's done 2 back surgeries on me. He's a neurosurgeon. He makes more money than a regular doctor, who makes more money than the nurses, who make more money than the receptionist, because my doctor friend solves bigger problems. And you can see there's the toilet. When you're negotiating with somebody about the price of the house and the terms, this is where you negotiate. Show them the ugly stuff. All these houses we'd buy, we'd take pictures of all the crap. And again, it's not hard to find bad stuff in the house. And then we would buy those things, we'd show the owner or the bank or whoever foreclosed on it what the property was like so that they could get a good idea of the problems. This is the kitchen right here. And you can see they've just abused this kitchen. And you can see the bucket that's underneath the sink. Well, you know, it's there because they didn't fix the leak. Well, sometime that bucket's going to overflow. And when it overflows, then you can see that the water's creating all kinds of problems under that sink. This is the stove on one of the houses we did. We bought it in February, and they had a turkey in there that they had left from Thanksgiving. Again, I like to find ugly stuff because I can fix them up without spending a lot of time and energy and make a huge difference in them. This is my little wife right here. And you can see that we're painting this house. She's smiling because not because she's happy about painting the house, but because I'm taking her picture. And here I am in our early 20s. We've been doing this. We've been doing real estate now for almost 40 years. Wow, 40 years. And fixing properties, painting them. My wife and did all of this. We had people that came in and put a new roof on things, tearing up the old floor, putting down a brand new subfloor. And you can see that they've taken out that where the water's at. And you can see my wife's got a broom, but my friend Steve's got a hammer. Well, that's because he had to kill the cockroaches that were running around there. And there we are putting in the wallpaper. And I want to show you the before and afters. And so this is what the thing looked like before and after. There's the before pictures and after. There's before and after. There's before and after. And so in our early 20s, early 30s, we did an awful lot of real estate. And that's how we began fixing up little houses. That's how we got started. And we did really well, and we never stopped. And we've been involved investing in businesses and the internet and real estate now for 40 years. Now, as I mentioned, we're a nonprofit educational charity. Not only as myself, but we have all kinds of authors and educators and entrepreneurs that work with us. And we started with small things, and the whole goal was to make enough money to take care of these special needs children. Well, we've done that, and those kids are taken care of, and if something happened to me, they would be just fine. And so we had extra money because all the real estate doubled in value over those years, and some of it's tripled, and some of it's gone up 9 to 10 times, eight times from what we bought it for in the early 80s. And so we put $3 million into the foundation. We did that with real estate. I'm teaching you how we did it. We used real estate and we used Berkshire Hathaway stock. Now, there are 5 steps to the financial freedom, but if I only had 30 seconds to teach you the simplicity of what you need to do, because a lot of people are making this too complicated. There's really 3 things you got to do. 1, you got to make more money. You have to learn how to make more money. And you do that with your job, and you do that with your side hustle, your small business. You've got to learn how to make more money. Number 2, which is actually step number 4, automatically invest it. You have to have a separate account that's not connected to anything else. It's a separate account, like a GoTrade account or a Robinhood account. And the last piece is you need to buy and start with Berkshire Hathaway stock, with Warren Buffett stock. And my wife and I are now going to be giving you stock instead of cash. We're giving you stock going forward. So 3 steps: make more money. 2, get it automatically invested in a separate account. And 3, you need to start with Berkshire Hathaway stock. That's it. Later on, you can get a little bit more complicated, but those are the 3 steps. So if I only had 30 seconds to tell you what to do, I'll tell you: 1, make more money with your job and with a side hustle, a small business. 2, automatically put it into another account. And then number 3 is just buy Berkshire Hathaway stock with it. And that's how I would get you started. And that's how we're going forward. Now, I'm going to show you the rest of the steps so you get it. But really, that's the key. Don't make this harder than it is. Make more money, open a separate investment account, and put Berkshire Hathaway stock in it. That's it. That's how you start. And until you've done that and get that system down, that is the key. Now, once you've done that, we can go to the next step. We can add a couple more steps in the wealth formula to it. Now, what that is that you need to learn how to make more money. And you do that by studying successful people. We need to study successful people. Now, who are the people that I've studied? Well, Robert Allen, of course, has been a great friend of mine for decades. Mark Victor Hansen did all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books and many other books, and he's very successful. I study Warren Buffett. I got 3 autographs from Buffett. Big Buffett fan. My dad I've studied my dad and watched how he did it. And do what they do. You know, if you're going to make a cake, find out how your grandmother made that cake, follow the recipe, and you can make a cake just like it or close to it. Studying Gates, Oprah, Tony Robbins is a friend of mine. I used to go flying with Tony in his helicopter. Wonderful guy. And Elon Musk. So the first thing you have to do is you have to study successful people and then do what they do. And what do? They solve problems. They look for problems. They want problems. They solve problems and they add value. They add value. Zig Ziglar said the only way you can get what you want out of life is to help other people get what they want out of life. The add value is something I really learned from Tony. He says, add more value than someone else. In your job, go the extra mile. And as these companies that I've owned, I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of employees. I'll tell you, the ones that if stuff gets hard and we have to have layoffs, the ones we lay off are the ones that don't add value. The ones that add the most value, even though they could be the most expensive, we keep because they're the most valuable to us. Now, the second thing is you need to separate it. You've got to separate your money in your businesses and in your investments. You got to separate it into 3 groups. Number 3, you got to give some of it away to individuals, to churches and charities. And it doesn't matter how much it is, you just have to get that into your system. And I learned that from my mom and dad. I learned that from my wife's parents. I learned that from Bob and Mark. Paul Newman, this is a model that the foundation was based off of, where he's created an organization that has given away over $500 million to charity. And so I was influenced by that. Warren Buffett, 99% of his wealth is all going to charity. Bill Gates is doing the same thing. Oprah, the Oprah Angel Network, these are big givers. And you study successful people. Tony Robbins is a big giver. And so if you do that first, then naturally it's a spiritual law, but it's also a business law. You want to hang out with people that are givers. Now, number 4 step is to automatically invest. This is so crucial. It's a separate investment account. You don't commingle it. You don't keep it with your with your Gcash and Ginvest. You got to get into a separate account. And I learned this from Warren Buffett. And as I look back at my life, I've got all kinds of businesses. They all have a separate account. So we can keep track of them and we can find out how valuable and if they're making money or not. And a friend of mine, Robert Miles, did the book 101 Reasons Why to Own the World's Greatest Investment. So you have to start putting money away in a separate account. You're going to have small businesses that make money, but you also have to get your money working for you. So that's crucial. Then the save and spend. Well, who is the person that I would really listen to on save and spend? And that's Dave Ramsey. He's one of the best. And I love how he teaches how to get out of personal debt. Now, I've done a lot of debt for investment debt on real estate where other people are paying that off for me. And he's really good to be able to listen to. And I love listening to Dave Ramsey. Now, the 5 steps are that. Now, the real key is the wealth formula. The wealth formula is you need a side hustle. You need to make more money with your job and your side hustle, your small business. Then you need to study people of how they did it. And so these wonderful authors are giving you this information because we're a foundation. And Robert Allen is the famous author of the Road to Wealth book. The Road to Wealth is a true story about how he and I went to an unemployment line in St. Louis. And we took people out of that unemployment line. We taught them how to flip real estate. Now you can flip an iPhone, you can flip clothes, you can flip all kinds of stuff. That's what his goal was to do. And it's a true story, and it's a wonderful book. And he is giving us that book to be able to give to you. Multiple streams of income. Once you get your base, now you need to create multiple streams of income. And you need small businesses. So a friend of mine, Mr. Michael Gerber, is the author of a book called The E-Myth, The Entrepreneurial Myth. And he trained me personally. He was my coach, and he's a great guy. You need to learn about the internet. You need to learn, because you can take your phone and you can do business all over the world. You can provide services to people all over the world. A lot of these wonderful videos are done by Josh and Audrey, who live in the Philippines, and I'm here in America. You can take and you can be, and I've got Bob's son, Aaron, is a digital nomad. He lives in Argentina, then he goes to Bali, wherever he's at, and he works and does his stuff because he can do it all online. You can make money with direct selling and direct marketing, or MLM, but you've got to do it the right way. If you treat it like a business, it'll pay like a business. If you treat it like that you're speculating, then it's not going to work. You need to learn how the people do it and do it right. So the wealth formula is very simple. You need to take money every month automatically, as much as you can automate this. And you need to do this over time. This is not a get rich quick. We're growing a whole orchard of money trees. And yes, money does grow on a tree if you plant the right seed. And we do that over time, and then we have an increase in value. The central governments of the world can't pay their bills, and so they are spending and printing more money. If you own assets that produce income, you make more money. It's called appreciation because we appreciate it. If you don't own those assets, you're getting crushed, and it's called inflation. This is how you create generational wealth. My wealth is being passed down to my kids and my grandkids and to the foundation. Okay, so we're going to learn, and we're going to do the things that Buffett teaches us. We're long-term investors. We don't speculate, we don't day trade, and we don't pick and choose. Okay, we start with the Warren Buffett Berkshire Hathaway stock, and that's what my wife and I are going to give to you going forward. Now, to do that, we want to make sure that you really understand what you've got. You have the access to all these wonderful classes. And, Robert Allen created the book called Multiple Streams of Income and The Road to Wealth, and many other books. Mark Victor Hansen, the Chicken Soup for the Soul guy, worked with him on the 1 Minute Millionaire and Cracking the Millionaire Code. And this is one of the educational businesses that I worked with these guys on for quite a while. This product, they would sell for $5,000, 5,000 US dollars. The reason it was so expensive is because it was so expensive to deliver. It was very expensive in marketing. They spent millions and millions and millions of dollars in marketing. And number two, it was very difficult to deliver it. But because of the internet, because I'm talking to you right now live on your phone, the world has changed. I'm 64 years of age. My two good friends right here are in their 70s, 75. And this is a legacy project. And so we were able to find a way to deliver it to you for nothing. So you're not going to pay $5,000 like thousands of people did. And those thousands of people made money doing what we taught them. You're not going to pay $1,000. You're not going to pay $500 to go through this material. You're not going to pay $100 to go through it. You're going to get it for free. Now, because it's free, you need to respect that thousands of people paid a lot of money for that. They made a lot of money by doing that. They got a return on their investment, which is terrific. But as a legacy program, we want to help you to change your world. So this is a program that we delivered for thousands of dollars, but you're going to get that for free. Now, the one thing that we learned with that is that we had to add some more materials. And so not in addition to the Protege program, we created a whole section by success secrets. Mark Victor Hansen knows a ton of people that are very successful. So does Bob, and they all hang out together. And so we figured out how to study these people. You want to study Steve Jobs. What did he do and how did he do it? Learn from them. and then copy what they do. Warren Buffett, we learn from Buffett. Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey. These are introductory classes that once you get into them, then we're going to guide you to the right place. The problem with social media is it's a bunch of junk. There's thousands of crap on there. We're going to give you the best stuff to get started. And so Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey, these are introductory materials, and then we'll get you excited where you can learn more. Bill Gates, Robert Kiyosaki, Robert Allen, Oprah, Walt Disney. These are people that we want to study and then do what they've done. We also knew that we had to create some personal development programs to be able to help you with that. And so there's the Blue Vase, which is a wonderful material. The 4 Maps book by Bob Allen. Think and Grow Rich is probably the best book you could ever read. And that's all audio and the book itself. The 7 Habits is an introductory course by Stephen Covey. The Magic of Thinking Big, Millionaire Psychology, plus the Inner Success and Wealth. Those are all a bonus item. We also knew that we needed to teach the basics of money, personal finance. And so all my material, the 5 Steps to Financial Freedom and the Wealth Formula, the 60-Day Money Miracle by Ross Jardine, finance lessons with James Fletcher, and investment lessons. And so we knew we had to get personal finance in there. We had money courses. What do you do at the next step? And so these are kind of introductory into Ray Dalio, wonderful guy, Wealth with Low Risk by J.J. Childers. And J.J. did the Escape program. Crypto, all of you are eventually phase 2, phase 3, you're going to learn about the blockchain. The blockchain is changing the world, but you don't start there. You start with the basics. You start with Warren Buffett and that stock first. We're going to teach you about money and banks and central banks and how they work. It's fun. We want to learn how they do what they do. All of you are going to have to own some real estate in your lifetime. You live someplace, you might as well own it. And more importantly, you want to own things that you can rent out to other people. A big part of our fortune was created with real estate that we bought where other people rented from us and paid off our properties. As they paid those rents, we paid down the loans, and the properties doubled, and in some cases went up 8 times over that 40-year period of time. So you're going to have to learn about real estate. Road to Wealth is wonderful, the real estate launch. And the first book I ever read on real estate was Wake Up the Financial Genius by Mark Harrelson. He actually owned the apartment complex I lived in when I was going I went to 2 colleges. The first college I went to, and he brought up a case of books and just gave them away. And it was a wonderful book. It was a wonderful man. All of you are going to make, manage, and spend money your whole life. You're going to make it and you're going to spend it, but you need to learn how to manage it and how to make it grow. And the best guy we follow is the stuff that I've taught and the stuff that Warren Buffett's taught. And Robert Miles. These are great people that have great materials that are and a lot of these are on YouTube. We just give you points and give you rewards for going through those classes. Small business. You all have to have a small business. Everybody has a small business. Most of you should have a job and a small business. When your small business makes more money than your job, then you can quit your job. But until that time, you need them both. And we're going to teach you about that. And like I mentioned, some of the courses, introductory courses as the E-Myth. My friend Jay Abraham, marketing genius, is going to teach you about that. And you need to learn how to sell stuff. You all need to learn how to sell stuff. Great salesmen don't sell. They solve problems. That's why they do well. In addition to that, direct selling. Most of you have heard of direct marketing and multi-level marketing. The 98% of you have done it wrong. We're going to teach you the right way to do it. After I had my health issues, I got involved and started taking nutritional products, which I've been taking for decades. And I found out you can make extra money by telling other people about those things. And so that is one of the systems that I put in place for my special needs kids. And every week a check still pops right into their investment account on a weekly basis, but you got to do it right. Making money online. All of you have to have exposure. Now, again, you're not going to do all this at once, but I'm interested in where you're going to be in 5 years from now, not 5 weeks from now. So you got to learn how to make money online. And that's a huge part. And then the last one is we got to teach your family. We got to teach your kids. We got to teach you. And we start with the simplicity. The most simple stuff that I have is the Money Made Easy program. And we have programs for kids, for teens, for young adults and adults about money. And the vast majority of you should start right here. If you do the 3 steps, then you add 2 more steps to it. And that's the system. And then you keep adding layers after layers after layers after that. And of course, we love Warren Buffett and the Secret Millionaire Club. This is the OG. This is the great guy right there. Now, as a nonprofit, again, we're supported by groups. And you're asking yourself, well, how do you make money doing this? How do you earn cash and prizes and stock? You're going to earn stock. We're going to give you away our stock. Simple, you attend live classes. You can do that in person or online. Number 2, you can go through the recorded online courses and you can earn Buffett bucks. And number 3 is by giving away memberships to friends and family. You just literally give it away. Instead of us spending millions of dollars on Facebook and everything else, we're going to give it to you because you need it and Zuckerberg doesn't. Okay, that's the system. So when you watch these videos and stuff like that, then we're going to send you bonuses. We're going to send you bucks. We're going to send you stock, Warren Buffett stock. Then you're going to simply share your unique URL or your QR code with friends. And when they watch videos, we'll send you an additional bonus. That's kind of how our system works. The way you do it is once you sign in, you simply go to your name, click on the referral link, copy your own personal referral link, and then share that with people. You can copy your QR code if it's easier to be able to just take a snapshot of that and share that. They can click on it and go from there as well. Now, how does your group make money? By going to classes, the same as you. It's that simple, and start investing. So we're going to ask you if you'll help us to share the wealth. Help us share the wealth by giving away free classes and going to classes and making a difference. If you're willing to help us, we want to help you as well. So make a difference, make it happen, and remember that every life is precious. Every life is precious. Every life has equal value. Now, not every life has equal value in the marketplace, but every life is precious, and every life, every spirit, every soul has equal value. And our goal is to help our brothers and sisters have a better life and to help you help those around you have a better life. So this has been Tom Painter. Thank you so much for watching. Make a difference, make it happen. And remember that every life is precious. Thanks for sharing the wealth. Thanks for watching.